Hello and welcome to day 64 in this quest for a 2000 rapid chess rating on chess.com. So I'm doing something a little different today. You may notice the screen is different. I played a viewer. We played 14 games and basically the viewer crushed me. So I lost every single game except one and had one draw. Now, we played for the Quest for 2000 series. I should have recorded this while I played. I thought we were just going to play some friendly games. So I just used the hippo defense in all the games. Maybe I shouldn't use that opening because my opponent basically defeated me in every game but one and ran me out of time in most of those games. So we played 4 10-minute games with no increment. So I'll do a review of those games and then I'll do a follow-up video with these 3-minute blitz games. And we can check them out and see what happened and see what I can learn. So congratulations to the viewer. His name here looks like Addy Idiot on chess.com. So also any viewers or subscribers that would like to play in the future, just send a friend request on chess.com and I'll accept that. And then you can send me either a comment in one of the videos or a message on chess.com if you're interested in playing. And then we could either do a Quest for 2000 game where I'll do a 15-minute game with 10-second increments for that. Or, if you just want to do some blitz games, or even bullet, anything else, just let me know. And then the next time I'll actually record the games while we're playing, which would have been interesting to see while I played these games. So let's take a look at the first game here. It looks like my opponent just outplayed me in the first game. He had a 78.8% accuracy rating compared to my 72.7. So let's see how this first game went. So 72.6 versus 78.8. And it looks like the game was even. Looks like I got an advantage and then just gave it up, before maybe running out of time. Let's see what happened. All right. We both had one blunder. My opponent had 3 great moves versus my 1. And then, let's see. He had 6 inaccuracies to my 5. He only had 1 mistake and I had 4. And then he had a miss. All right. It says games tend to be won and lost in the middle game. Let's review so you'll be the one finding the mating attack next time. All right. The first game here, I start off with this hippo defense where you just fianchetto both bishops. And that's what I stuck with here. I didn't realize we were going to be playing 14 games, or I might have tried to do some different openings. All right, let's see here. So here it didn't like this move. Let's see what I should have done here. I should have just started attacking in the center, it looks like. All right, so on to the next. Oh, what was that? Looked like we had a blunder back there. So let's take a look at that. Okay, my opponent gave up a piece, but it must have worked out in the end since he won. But let's take a look at it. Or maybe I made a mistake later because it looks like I held an advantage for a while. So they give up their bishop to open up an attack on my king. I capture, and now their knight jumps in. So let's see. I pin the knight to the queen. They protect. And now, let's see. Hopefully I attack with the pawn. Oh no, well, it says this is best to move this bishop and line it up here. All right. So maybe I should have just attacked with the pawn while that knight was pinned. That's interesting. It didn't give that option. So, should this pawn have moved up here and pinned? Maybe not, because then, well, I don't know. If his knight moves here, I could take his queen first. Then, if he takes mine and I capture, my bishop should have time to escape, possibly. Anyway, let's look further here. So it looks like I held an advantage for a while. And then it didn't like that move. So if we go back, let's see. And I guess I'm doing all right on time so far. So that's another reason I played all these the Hippo system openings, is because it usually gives me a better edge on time, because I already have trouble with time in my games, as you've probably all noticed already. So this helps a little bit by playing this opening where I can get all my pieces developed pretty fast, and sometimes opponents are not sure what to do against this Hippo defense. All right, so it didn't like that move. Best would have been what? Bringing the knight here and getting, trying to fork these pieces. Or, let's see. Well, I guess my bishop could jump over here. And if the knight jumps in, I could capture the knight. But what did we have next here? So queen moved there. I captured, and it didn't like that. It says better would have been to develop my queen. Develop the queen. Interesting. I guess that attacks this pawn up here. All right, let's continue on here. Okay, so it says this is a great move here. Let's see. Well, it attacks the queen. So next. All right, didn't like that pawn move. So instead, what? Move my king up? Or actually, here, let's take a look. Best would have been to retreat the bishop to help guard over here. Oh yeah, plus that bishop was under attack. So let's see. So this is where I made a mistake, and the game goes back in black's favor here. So let's see. Here the game is, white has an advantage here, and then that move gives up my lead. So here I needed to retreat this bishop back to keep the lead, because now I go there, they can just capture here, which they did not do. All right, so I run, they attack, I run some more, but now I'm in trouble. The knight jumps in, and that was a bad move. Better would have been to capture there. Attacking the queen. All right, so yeah, that happens. And then now the game is about even again, according to this. So, and now I'm starting to run out of time, but my opponent has an attack building up. So let's see. I should speed this along. All right, so this is bad, this attack here, because now we have, well, let's see what would have been better. My queen had to move up there. Okay. and threaten an attack on the king. But then, they could check here, put me in check. And then what could I do? I would have to block with my... Oh, man. Yeah, that doesn't look good either. So let's see what would have happened here. See, why are they showing that? You think they would have just attacked with check here with the queen earlier when my king was unprotected. All right, anyway, let's do the summary. Oh, I guess it went to the end there where I'm just trapped. So let's see how it ended. There. Okay, I go there and see they just bring their queen in and it's checkmate. So instead, I had to bring my queen up. Let's see, queen to f3 here. But why would they do that? Why couldn't they just, you think they would have checked there. All right, anyway, the first game, it says you had a pretty competitive game there. The opening was balanced. Your opponent found some nice moves. So I played at a 1600 level and they played at 1750. Okay, I'm not going to go too deep because I have 4 games to go over. So let's just jump into the next game. So I let my opponent get an attack on me there. And I still had 3 minutes on the clock. So I don't know. I guess I rushed and my opponent just outplayed me there. So good job to them. Okay, let's see here. The second game. All right, the second game was a draw. So let's take a look at that. The only non-losing game that I had. We'll do a game review. All right. So let's see here. Let's see. I played at 82.2 versus their 79.9, but they had 6 great moves versus my 2. And then, let's see, I had a blunder, which I think was at the end under time pressure. So let's take a look and see what happened here. This says you had the advantage but ran out of time. Be sure to keep an eye on the clock or one eye on the clock. All right, so once again, I use this hippo defense. So as we'll see here, we just get this set up with the double fianchetto. All right, so it really blasted through the moves here. It says that this move might cause me trouble. I guess I wanted to move this knight up here to the king side. And just try it, or the queen side, what am I saying? Over here to the queen side and get closer to his king. But it says a better move would have been to just go ahead and push this pawn. I guess threatening to trap his bishop, but not if he captures here. I guess he could capture, then I capture, and he could make an escape route for the bishop, or just move this pawn and back his bishop up. All right, so continuing on. So I go ahead and jump up here. Now it doesn't like that. It said it would have been better to put that knight back over to the king side, probably to help defend my king. So we start trading in the middle. They attack. Now my king is stuck here. So the game continues with what happened there. I just capture a pawn and attack his rook at the same time. So capture. And then we just kind of trade pieces down. So this move was not the best. All right, so this is what the computer wanted, for me to just move this pawn up. I guess I did not do that because I thought, well, then the knight could jump down in here. Well, then, where does it go after that? It's not really able to go anywhere. So maybe that was a ghost threat that really didn't make a difference there. All right, so let's move on. So I retreated back. The computer does not like that. It wanted me to capture with the pawn instead. But I didn't want to break my pawns apart. But I don't know. I guess this would allow the bishop to centralize here in the middle of the board. And then I could focus on pushing these pawns at some point if that knight moves, maybe, and the king. You know, if my opponent starts moving over to the other side of the board in the future, I can try and push these pawns. So I start moving forward here. We've traded off the rooks. And then it doesn't like that pawn move. It says better is to activate my king towards the center of the board. All right. And then at this point, I'm just running out of time. I only have 18 seconds left here. So time trouble is just destroying me. So now I'm just rushing, trying to get my king up here and pick off his pawns. 7.8 seconds left. And we trade down material. And now I'm pretty much winning, but I only have 3.6 seconds on the clock. So, you know, I promote a queen. And when I was pre-moving, I don't know, I guess I thought the queen could go there. I don't know why I ended up moving it there. I guess because I pre-moved and moved it to the wrong square. But, you know, then it leads to a draw here. So, you know, I guess they pre-moved as well and didn't take my queen. But they just ran around. And, you know, if I had 10 seconds left, I would have been able to win. But I ran out of time. So another good job by my opponent. All right, so in this game, it says you had a pretty competitive game there. The opening was balanced. It was a well-fought middle game that you got the better of. You both battled pretty evenly in the end game. All right, so let's see. I played at 1900. My opponent played at 1750. So opening accuracy 89.3 versus 82.6. So my opponent played better in the opening. Middle game 82.6 versus 86.9. And the end game 71 and 77. So anyway, I played better in that one, but I ran out of time and it was a draw. So let's go on to the last two games here. I'll try and dig in a little bit more in the review. You know, I was trying to rush through these since I have 4 games to go over. All right, so let's do the other two here. This next game went 57 moves. So let's take a look here. All right. So in this one, I played 86.4 versus their 83.7, and they had 3 blunders, which was, I don't know. Well, let's find out here. Okay, we'll start the review, and it looks like I lost on time again. So the hippo defense, and oh wait, there was a blunder back there. So this is a blunder moving there. Huh. Let's go back. All right. I guess they moved there and it's a blunder. They probably best would have been what? To move back to the center. But let's go back here. In the game, they moved back here. And what do I have to do to take advantage of that? Well, I guess that's the move. It says this is a great move, although, I don't know, it doesn't look too great. I mean, what does this do, really? Just push their bishop away. Oh, I guess I can continue on and pick this pawn off, which I don't think I did that in the game. So they retreat back. So maybe here I should have kept moving, attack this knight, and then knock off this pawn in the center. So yeah, so I missed out on that. Best would have been attack the knight and then go after this pawn. So I don't know, I guess I was on autopilot there and wanted to develop the rest of my pieces, and I missed that opportunity. So let's see here. Uh, the moves that they recommend is the knight moves, then you pick this off, the knight goes there, and then you just retreat back. And then I guess I would get ready to move here and attack that knight and try and chase him away, probably back to here maybe. Okay, let's look at what happened next. So I just continued development. It didn't like that move. It says instead I should have castled immediately. But I'm going for this hippo defense. Now I move up here and it doesn't like that. It's saying I should have attacked over here on the queen side. So, all right. Doesn't like this queen move. Best would have been to move here. Oh, and line up on the king and threaten a discovered check and an attack on the bishop. Okay. So, I don't know. I guess I just missed a lot of opportunities in this game. And, all right. I guess with the 10-minute games, I don't know. I seem to rush in those because I know I'm going to have time trouble in the end if I wait, if I take too long to move. So, it didn't like that move. It said, it wanted me to go there. How does that even work? I mean, can they go here and trap my knight? If they trap my knight, then what do I do? See, they don't even show that move. Looks like they can just trap my knight with this move. Alright, yeah, now it's showing some crazy variation. Alright, that was just ridiculous. Okay. How many moves did it show? Okay, back in the game, when they attacked my knight here, it wanted me to move this way. Instead of that, it wanted me to do... How do I get it to play that? See, now it's not letting me play this move. Come on. All right. So this move, can't they just trap me there? Now what? Now it says to ignore that and go after the bishop. Okay. Well, what if they just retreat? Now what? Rook at A to D1. They recommend that and just letting this be captured? Okay. Now, what are we missing here? Oh, okay. Well, that's a crazy discovered possibility. Capturing this. The queen's under attack. Now the queen would capture, and then our rook captures up here. All right, yeah, that's a crazy variation. Okay, let's get back to this game review. The next move. So it doesn't like me putting my knight in the middle. Maybe I should have blocked out his bishop first. All right, so here it wanted me to go that way, which was kind of nuts. All right, so instead, by going there, they capture, we trade off, and his knight just ends up in the middle. Okay, so here I missed a big opportunity. I went here. Well, they said that was a blunder. So my opponent had a blunder here, and how do I take advantage of that? Well, Well, what was his best move? His best move would have been to just bring his king up towards the center, and then the game is close to even. Um, but after the blunder, how do I take advantage of this? I went here, but that's a miss. The best move. I am not seeing, a way that we can take advantage of a blunder. Maybe if we could knock this knight out, we're threatening. No, we're not even threatening a mate. So what am I missing here? Huh. Okay. Well, let's look at these moves. Capture, capture. Okay, hold on. Why did they do that? Okay. Let's go back. The queen's under attack. Oh, if we capture. Well, oh man. Yeah, okay, that was tricky to see there. We're attacking the queen. We're attacking the bishop here. So the queen can't cover the bishop and the rook at the same time. So the best thing to do is give up your queen, but capture the rook and the bishop. But even then, white would have been ahead. All right, well, I missed that one. So now we just trade down. I'm running low on time with 2 minutes, less than a minute now. And my opponent just ran me out of time here. All right, so it looks like I was actually winning, but if you lose on time, the game is over. So here it says you had a pretty competitive game there. You played better than your opponent in the opening, but it was sloppy. That's what they say that about the Hippo system a lot. Both of you navigated the middle game well. Both of you played with incredible precision in the end game. So I played at 2,000 there. Now my opponent played at 1,900 level. So, good job on my opponent there. That's the highest level. I think the last 2 games he played at 1,750. And once again, good job on running me out of time there. I just couldn't keep up with my player's speed, my opponent's speed. All right, so let's take a look at the final game that I played. And let's see, it was 54 moves. We'll look at the game review. And this time I'll go through the game review real quick and then I'll actually analyze it a little bit more. So this game, we both played right around 80% accuracy. My opponent had a blunder. But let's see. We were pretty even in this game. It says you found some nice tactics but didn't find them fast enough. The more you play, the quicker the moves will come. I don't know. I think I'm finally... Well, I don't know. I've never been extremely fast in chess, probably because when I was a kid, I never used a clock. I just played slow games with friends, where we just had plenty of time to think. And also I read about, as far as chess speed and calculation speed, you can try and work at practicing tactics, and it'll help you see tactics more. But when it comes to just calculating and playing fast or playing slow, some people are just faster than others. I read a little bit about this on the internet, and I think what I found by research done by others is that everybody's kind of born with a to use a computer analogy, a processor speed, and some people's brains just have a faster processing speed than others. And so, my opponent obviously is playing super fast, and we'll see also in the next video when we do the blitz games where he just ran me out of time, in every game. So, let's see here. We'll do the review here. and then I'll kind of actually analyze this game since it's the last one of the four. But in the future, I would like to, if anybody wants to play, we can, like I said, just send your information in a comment or send a friend request on chess.com, and then we can schedule an actual time to play. If, well, whatever we decide, I'll try and record it the next time if you want. That way, I can discuss the game while we're playing, and I don't know, it might be more interesting than just watching this game review. All right, let's see what happened next here. So I capture here, and it does not like that. I thought, well, I'll break up his pawns over here, but I do give up the bishop pair with that move. So the best move here would have been to just keep my bishop pair and go ahead and castle. All right, so next. It did like that move, which gets rid of their bishop pair. So if you don't have the bishop pair and your opponent does, you want to try and get rid of their bishop pair. Now, here I might have been a little bit hesitant to capture this because, well, I'm giving up a good knight, but I don't know, how good is this knight if they just push this pawn and chase me away? So they have a bad bishop blocked in by their pawns, but this knight would probably be forced to retreat anyway, so I guess that's why the computer liked this move, to get rid of the bishop pair. All right, so I capture, they recapture, and now it does not like that. It probably wanted me to castle here. Yeah, so I should have castled. I'm doing all right on time. They've only used, what, about a minute? And I've used a minute and 39 here, so all right. So now I capture that pawn, and black is ahead here, by quite a bit. So I guess I had the lead, and I just give up the lead, as I start running out of time and we get to the end. So, let's see. Didn't like that move, maybe because now the knight is blocked and can't go to the center. It has to go down to this bad square here. So I guess I kind of, I don't know, well, I don't know. Now here I have this pawn, but his king's probably going to head over there and try and stop me. So that is a mistake, pushing that pawn right now. Instead, oh, all right. Yeah, that could have been, I didn't even think about that move. It keeps the king. The knight and the pawn keeps the king from, coming over this way. And the king can't even go up and around because of the pawn and the bishop stuck there. And if the bishop moves, the knight will capture it. So anyway, I overlooked that. All right, so here I move forward, trying to do something with that knight, but it said it would be better to push the pawn. All right. I probably did that in the beginning, but now it's saying the game's about even. So it doesn't like that. Best would have been to capture. Huh. Okay. Oh, I see. If the king captures there, my knight can jump up and pick this pawn off. So he'll get that one. Let's take a look at the moves. Capture, knight attacks. Well, now they don't even take that. We just have a retreat. Huh. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, here, then what? I guess Well, that knight could be trapped. No, my bishop is kind of stuck there. And my knight could jump here and protect that. But if the knight goes here and then here, picking this pawn off, and these pawns will try and break through maybe. Anyway, we'll just finish this out, and then maybe we can take a look at the... All right, we can take a look at the analysis here. Okay, so here's what it says. So what happened? Did I run out of time there at the end? Yeah, it looks like he had 5 minutes left on the clock, and I'm out of time. You know, all right. And it says the game's even now. So, what do I do? It says you had a pretty competitive game there. The opening was balanced. You were a cut above your opponent in the middle game. Your opponent found some good moves in the end game. So we both played at an 1800 level there. So I guess I could look at the analysis real quick. All right, so I set up this hippo defense where you fianchetto both bishops. And the computer doesn't like a lot of these moves because you're kind of playing a defensive system. So, here, the computer wants you to activate the knight, but, I'm playing this to keep his knight and pieces out. Also, at some point, if the bishop develops and the queen and bishop battery attacks here, then the bishop and the rook can cover this pawn and prevent a trade of your bishops. All right, so now it doesn't like this move. It says that I should have developed the knight, but once again, I'm going for this hippo system setup. All right, so I have everything developed. Now I could push this pawn up here to keep his pieces off of g5, and then maybe push this pawn to g4 attacking. So now I play this because if he pushes, then I can push my pawn and chase his bishop away. So that's what happens. Now the computer doesn't like this. It says rook to d1 would have been better, centralizing the rook and lining up on my queen. But with this move, it allows me to push forward, gaining a little bit of space, chasing his bishop away. So the bishop retreats, and now looks like castling is best. But instead, I make this mistake of giving up my bishop pair. All right, so we have a recapture. Now I don't know, try and open the center up with this pawn. It says it would have been better to just push here with the c pawn, attacking his more powerful central pawn. Oh, okay, I see why I didn't do that. Because if I push this, he can just capture there. Huh. But it still wants me to do that. Okay, well, let's take a look at that. If I go there, all right, what about that move? Well, it doesn't like that. It says it's even. No, maybe slightly ahead for black, but it doesn't like this move. Because now we have capture. Okay, well, what about... All right, if we capture... Well, we're attacking the queen if we do that. So that would force him, to capture with the queen. And then... Oh, I see. If we capture now... Well, we could just move our knight out of the way. Knight to e2. And then, we would capture and it would undouble their pawns. But it says that's the best move. Capturing. The bishop captures. And then bishop to e2. Bishop to e2. Which I guess moves the bishop back so this knight can't harass it. And it protects this pawn. All right, so back to the game. I played e5. My opponent pushes forward, gaining space, but it looks like it would have been better to break the center open. Well, my center anyway. His is still kind of closed enough to keep his king safe. So the best move would have been to capture with that. And then, let's see. So after we capture with the knight, we have bishop to e2, retreating back to protect this pawn, not giving up the bishop pair. Now we castle, and it says white is just ahead here. You're looking at f4 next. So f4 attacking the knight and this pawn. So the best thing to do is that, but now your king is kind of open here. The bishop captures. Oh man, then the rook's going to come over. Black needs to move off of that line. And then it recommends either rook to g1 or bringing the other rook to d1, lining up on the queen. And I don't know, it just looks pretty rough here with this open king side over there. All right, what happened in the game? So in the game after e5, we had d5, keeping the center closed there. And now it recommends knight jumping up to c5. What did we have? So I found that move. And, so they move here, kind of lock up the center. The recommended move was a retreat, I believe. To retreat the bishop and keep your bishop pair. So they do that. I capture. They capture. And now this queen move, it doesn't like that. It wants castling. They push there, but it says the white player should have at least just pushed up here, so. All right. Now what? Retreating back, and, where's this knight going? Doesn't like that. It says rook to d1 would have been better. So they retreat back. We close out the bishop here. The bishop retreats. And now this, gaining space over here. But, was that necessary? Probably not. So better would have been what here? Attacking the pawns with c6 here. So it likes that move. And now the computer's thinking maybe it wants something different. It wants me to castle again. It really likes me to castle over there. All right. Let's go back. So in the game, I push here. The queen, I guess, moves over here to get rid, to create a battery of rook and queen, maybe to push this pawn. All right, so I move there, trying to get my knight up here and attack this pawn. So they move there, but it wants the bishop over there so this rook can protect this pawn, because now I just go after that. Let's see here. All right. So I get this pawn, and right now black is ahead by 2.75. So they double the rooks. I protect with the bishop. And I don't know, here I'm kind of running out of ideas on what to do. I double my rooks up, getting ready to push this pawn forward. But is that really a good idea? This knight is trapped over here. So maybe I should have been working on getting that H pawn moving forward. which maybe that's what I'm trying to do now. Finally, I get that knight out of the way. All right. And I pushed the wrong one. It actually wanted me to go over here. That's interesting. All right. So it doesn't like that. It says I should have pushed this pawn. So I don't know. I guess now I'm under 5 minutes. That's when all the time blunders start happening. All right. So we trade off. And I have this pawn marching, but, you know, what do I do now? Try and get my king up into the game. Huh. It says that's the best move. All right. Oh, excuse me. All right. So back to the game here. Oh, that was a blunder. So that's the one blunder I missed there, that I should have just taken that. So let's take a look at that. Well, what should they have done here? The best move, it looks like, is just king back to g2. You know, I guess any other move but this. So now, instead of moving my knight up there, I should have gone ahead and captured. So the best move is for the king to capture. And now knight to g5 lets me go after this. Oh man. All right, so c5. That move. You'd think they would just do that. But then that lets me capture here. And now this king has to get moving. So the king has to go up here, but there's two passed pawns now. So, you know, what can they do? I guess, well, what are they showing here? Do we go there? Nope. All right. What is, okay. So anyway, I just moved. Now we have this. And I'm just going to start picking off pawns. So what is their best option? Looks like king to g2. You know, but what if you try that? Does that even work? No, it's terrible, because then we have this. The king has to go over here to stop this pawn. But then you have h4. And it is not good here. King to f2 is best, but then you have h3, and the king can't stop both of these pawns. So g1 or g3, but I don't know. Then you have this. Boom, boom, and then that pawn will promote. All right, so anyway, you know, at this point, I had a minute left on the clock. And where were we in the game here? After this, you know, and I thought, well, if I capture that with only a minute, I don't have time to calculate everything. And I thought, well, I don't want to capture that and let him pick my pawns off, but it looks like that's exactly what I should have done. So in a slower time control, I might have examined that move more. You know, of my knight picking this bishop off, then moving my knight up here and attacking this, but not with a minute left on the clock. So good job on my opponent. You know, now he captures. His king keeps my king out of there. So I didn't know what to do. I just retreat back. And then let's see, I only have 14 seconds left. So he just starts running me out of time here. You know, that's all he has to do is just run me out of time. He has 5 minutes left on the clock. So my opponent was just a super fast player, as you'll see in the Blitz games, which are coming up in the next video. So, you know, if you're watching this for the first time and you haven't already, please like and subscribe to support this channel. And feel free to leave comments, suggestions, in any requests if you would like to see specific chess material in the future. And also, any of you, who would like to play and want me to do a video of our games, just leave a comment. You can also friend request me on chess.com, and we can set something up, and we'll figure that out if anybody is interested. All right, thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.